There was a time I remember 2 decades back when being a transgender, like you were only seen two ways. One is giving blessings to the newborn kids, and second is actually begging on the streets. There were no other opportunities for the community. Then there was a huge problem which came up on legalization of LGBTQI plus populations and Article 377. There was a huge role which some of the key people have played. One of them being Ashok Rao Kavi, and there was a time when it was a taboo. No one used to speak about the rights of the communities. People used to say like, okay, where they were seeing this whole transgender LGBTQI plus communities as the communities who are spreading the HIV. If you see the history of HIV also, you will find like it was called GRID before AIDS, and GRID was gay-related immunodeficiency rather than acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. There's a huge change which has happened over the last 2 decades, and everyone has put its own efforts, and I have been a very active member in the whole journey of the transgender communities. From the times when the community CBOs were getting strengthened, identifying the champions, training them, investing in them, training them on the management skills, and formally starting the structures. I'm lucky enough, during my work, I am able to actually nurture 100 plus community-based organizations who work with the transgender communities and LGBTQI plus in the broader domain. My journey started, around 20 years back. So I was a kid who was in TISS Mumbai, was studying, and then I happened to meet Ashok Rao Kavi. And from there my journey started. And the first time I went to Humsafar, when Ashok was heading Humsafar Trust. And one of the evenings was a very funny evening where he invited me. He said I want to make you see like other part of the world, which is very much neglected. I said, what part of the world that is? He called me to a very small slum in Mumbai. I thought like he's going to show me a slum. But instead of a slum, he showed me in the slum the strength of the transgender community, the strength of the LGBTQI plus community. It was Bombay Dost. So I saw the magazines Bombay Dost which were actually lying there. And it was like peaking like 8 o'clock in the evening when I first saw the ramp walks that happening 2 decades back, where the people who are cross-dressers, they were actually dressed up and they were walking the ramp. It was very fascinating, and I thought it's interesting, but I couldn't figure out what's my role and what Ashok wanted me to see. Until unless we had deeper conversations started, their rights, their entitlements, their health rights, their sexual health rights, their reproductive rights, their rights for the land rights, and many other things. So from there my journey started, and in the whole process, I started working with the Gujarat State AIDS Control Society. I was working with them. Got a big opportunity to train 300 plus civil society organizations on the issues of LGBTQI plus. At that time, Lakshya Trust was one of the organizations which is headed by Manvinder Singh Goyal, who is the Prince of Rajpipla, and he was the first gay prince who came out during that time. I was very surprised, what's happening, Gujarat is a big state, and I saw something very similar in Maharashtra with Ashok. I thought same kind of rigor and in the professionalism, the organizational structures need to be brought in Gujarat too. I was searching for some of the biggest advocates, who can help me create a whole program for the state of Gujarat. I happened to meet Lakshmi Narayan Tripathi. I got her to Gujarat to deliver the first lecture to the State AIDS Control Society project director. His name is Dr. D.M. Saxena, and to all the NGO partners. People were just, amazed to see who is this Lakshmi and what she's all about. It was great. I was able to form around 100 plus organizations, train them, nurture them in various parts of the state. From there, the journey didn't end there. I started working with the Clinton Health Access Initiative, where the program was again on essential medicines and on the important drugs which are life-saving drugs. There also this journey continued with me in a way or another. Then my current destination, which is Reckitt. 2 years back, I met our global CEO when he was newly appointed, Lakshman Narasimhan, in London. The first conversation in the first few hours was about what we are doing in India through Durex as a brand. That was a very interesting question, and his own motivation and encouragement again to start something very big in India on the LGBTQI plus rights, entitlements, healthcare. We started the program with the Humsafar Trust. Then this 18 months of COVID actually started. This 18 months was very challenging, where I remember during the first wave of the COVID, like I was packaging the food along with Lakshmi and many other transgenders, and we were doing the home delivery of food to those where this food security was a big issue. And it was not just limited to Delhi. We did the operations pan India together. Lakshmi was down with COVID, I was down with COVID, and many others who were on the front line. But still, there was a second line of leadership which was created, which was there. They served in these 18 months. It didn't stop there also. My colleagues in Reckitt, like Jyotsna, my boss in Reckitt, like Gaurav Jain, they keep challenging me and they tell me there's plenty to be done for the LGBTQI plus populations, including for the transgenders. And hence, we designed something which is a center of excellence for the transgender health in Vrindavan, which you will be seeing up and live in the first quarter of 2022. And it's just a humble beginning. India has formally 400,000 transgenders which are enumerated through the census survey and others. There's plenty to do before I say everything is done and it's fine. When we talk about leaving no one behind, we as a company, we believe in healthcare is a right and not a privilege. So anyone and everyone at the last mile also should get the opportunities of our services. And this whole population group, which is less represented, should get more visibility through the endeavors what we do as a company. And we stand for their health rights, we protect them, we nurture them. And Durex as a brand is not just for the sexual wellness, it's for the intimate wellness. And although we talk about a lot of other subjects like orgasm, equality, etc., but in this particular context, it's very important and it's very humbling to see the programs what we have initiated in the last few years. We are working with this big group of people across various states in India. And COVID was a very, very important time where we understood it's not just HIV needs of these people or the treatment needs of these people. It's very, very different situation altogether, where these guys were not able to earn because the movement was restricted, and the food security challenges and issues were also top of the challenges. We partnered with the organization called Ya All in Northeast in Manipur, where the Durex started actually the mental health helpline for those, because emotionally there was a big trauma, and there's still a lot of people want to talk to other people, but they don't see other people whom to talk to. So taking care of the small basic needs is very important. As WHO has rightly pointed out, health is a state of physical, mental and spiritual well-being, and not mere absence of disease and infirmity. So mental health, spiritual health, physical health, we are working on all the aspects so that we can do the justice to this particular population group. And Reckitt stands for diversity and inclusion, and this is one of the steps, which is the right step in that direction to take care of people.